multiple times. My name is Sherry Willingham, and I am a passionate pet parent. I have absolutely zero professional background. I have zero medical training. I am self-taught because I love animals. I have been through a real journey with my health and then with my pet's health. And I've learned so much that I feel like it's my obligation to share what I've learned with other pet parents. I know we all absolutely want to do what's best for our animals, and we can only do what we know. One of the things that I learned in this journey of mine is that medical professionals are trained to heal sickness. They are not educated in how to promote wellness. So that's the area that I have learned. That's the area that I like to share with other pet parents so that they can take a look at how maybe they can do things differently for their animals. My story starts different from a number of other people who are here because of their pet and the natural healing is for their animal. Mine started for my own health. I had MRSA abscesses on my body, and it was an ongoing issue for 2 years. I went to the doctor because they need to take care of it. They cultured it, it's MRSA, and I was given antibiotics, probably 10 or 12 rounds of different ones for 2 years. And it kept coming back, and they didn't have any other answer for me. And I knew that if I kept doing what they were telling me to do, I would keep getting the same results. So I went online, and this was years ago, but it was out there, and I found a group of people who had holistically healed MRSA with these special essential oils. And so I purchased their little ebook. I bought 2 bottles of essential oils. I followed their instructions to the T, which was internally the On Guard and topically the Melaleuca, and reduced the sugar in my diet. And I never had another outbreak of MRSA. But what it taught me is that all of us have bacteria on our skin at all times. And it's only people who have a suppressed or a weakened immune system that it's a problem for. So what I learned was that the most important thing for me to stay well is to keep my immune system strong, which means looking at a number of different things in our environment, what we put into our bodies, food, supplements, and so on. So I did that for myself. I was successful and very excited. Didn't share it with anybody because it was just my own little personal journey. When I started using the essential oils in a bigger way, was 10 years later. I met Kimberly Wallace, whose account this is. That's why it says my name is Kimberly Wallace. And she was using the oils and helping people learn how to use them. And so I bought a full kit. I started learning how the oils work and what other things they can do besides my little MRSA thing. And within a week, I was telling everybody about it because I think people want to know things that they're not going to find out in, the conventional medical model. So that was how I got started down this path. But what got me here talking to you about pets is this incredibly handsome boy named Barney. And Barney died in September of 2018 from lymphoma. But before that, I had him for 7 years. And when Barney came into the shelter I was working at, he was 60 pounds. His ears were bleeding from fly bite. He had chronic ear infections in both of those big ears. He had gut issues. He had diarrhea for a year. He just had the works. And when he came to the shelter, he was treated the way all the other animals are treated, which is they're given the flea and tick medication. They're given all the vaccinations. They don't have any history, so they have to make sure that they are vaccinated for everything. And he was loaded up on every medication you can think of. He was on antibiotics. He was on medications for his ears. He was on GI medication. It just, you know, it was like a little medicine cabinet for him. He gained weight. He started to get a little bit better. We continued to do all of the medications, but we knew that he had had a really rough life and it was going to be a while. As he started to get better, he started to have more skin issues. And when I say skin issues, I mean entire areas of his body that had no fur. And so we did, oh my gosh, we did every medication available, either topically or internally. At one time I was giving him medicated baths every other day, which is a lot of fun with at that time, 70-pound German Shepherd who didn't like baths. And it continued, the skin issues continued. They continued for 5 years. And even to the point where I took him, I found a holistic vet in Orange County, California. And I took him there and we got him on Chinese herbs. We had one of the medications was made by drawing his blood and then making a serum out of his own blood. But they never mentioned food. And the only reason that I decided to try the food was I saw a video called Pet Fooled. And I watched that and it made sense to me that the food that we're told to feed our animals will cause problems. So I changed the food. I had been doing things naturally. You know, I figured out to stop the antibiotics and all of that. I started feeding him fresh food, and within 2 weeks, all of his skin issues cleared up. He never had another skin issue between the time I started feeding him fresh food and when he passed away. And his entire coat grew in, where I didn't know German Shepherds were supposed to have a full belly undercoat of fur because he had never had it. So what I saw was mind-boggling to me. And I started stopping people in the street. If I saw somebody walking down the street with a dog, and I would ask them, what are you feeding your dog? Because I wanted people to know that this fresh food thing was amazing. So I started on the food, and then I realized that there were other things going on. Started looking at the vaccinations. Those are toxins introduced into the body. Then I started looking at the flea and tick medication, of course, the antibiotics and all of that stuff. And then stress. All of those things work on the immune system, hi vet, to cause problems in the body. And if you think about it, all disease in people, animals, all species is caused by inflammation, okay? So I know that was a lot of information, but that's how I got here, sitting here with the Essentially Oiled Pets group, talking to you about something that maybe would be a good thing to go over with your medical professional or seek out a holistic vet. But I want to share this information so that you can start looking at these things. You can start being aware of what's going on with my animal. I see heartbreaking situations on a daily basis where I just saw one today. Somebody's animal has epilepsy, and the vet has the dog on Apoquel because it chews its paws. And the stress on the immune system is crazy. Okay, sorry. I get really passionate about this. Okay, so the first thing I want to tell you is there is no magic bullet. You're not going to put coconut oil on your animal and have their allergies go away. I see that a lot. You're not going to be able, Jody, you're not going to be able to use lavender oil on the skin and have the issues go away. Because what's happening is inside, right? So first, let's talk about the skin. What is the skin? The skin is the largest organ of the body. It is a protector, right? It protects the muscle and the bone and pathogens that are in the environment. It's also an elimination organ. It's the largest elimination organ of the body. So whenever we have something going on with the skin, it's because something needs to get out of the body. Then we're talking about allergies. What are allergies? Inflammation in the body, right? It can be an allergy to the environment, pollen. It can be a food allergy. It can be an allergy to an ingredient in a vaccine. It can be an allergy to one of the chemicals in the flea and tick medication. It can be a response to one of the medications that's given, like antibiotics. Okay, so we have the allergy, we have the skin, and so what happens when something comes into the body that can't be processed by the liver, which is the cleanser of the body, so it's overloaded and it can't process all of the toxins. Those toxins have to leave the body somehow. And how they leave the body is through the skin. That can show up as ear infections. It can show up as hot spots, rashes, yeast. It can show up as mast cell tumors. The toxins have to leave the body, so they're going to show up in all sorts of different ways, right? So now we go to the most important thing as the foundation for the immune system and for, hold on just a second. For getting rid of the skin issues and the allergies is the gut health. 80% of our immune system is based on the health of our gut, and that's the good bacteria, it's the good flora, And when you have these toxins coming in, whether it's toxins from the food or the other toxins that we talked about from medication and other chemicals, it destroys that good bacteria and it allows the bad bacteria to grow. So then you have an overgrowth of bad bacteria. So we want to figure out how to stabilize the gut health so that the gut can properly manage the immune system. Does anybody have any questions? Okay. So this is what I was talking about, Jody, is without finding out what the root cause is, we're just putting Band-Aids on it, right? And so the number one thing that I always start with, and anybody who's been on my page or talked to me individually, the number one thing that I ask is, what are you feeding? Because the diet is the primary source of either fuel and good gut bacteria, or it's the primary source of carbohydrates, sugar, bad bacteria, okay? So with the diet, we need to remember dogs are carnivores. They are meant to eat meat. When I changed Barney's diet, and I've done this diet for 3 other senior rescues, and I've seen the same results with them. They are thriving. Their coats are beautiful. They have no skin issues. And the skin, the coat is a reflection of what's going on inside. So the dogs eating fresh food, meat, low carbohydrates is really going to help the immune system, help the gut do what it's supposed to do. And if you have more questions about that, there's some links in the group. Pet Food is the very first one I always recommend because I feel like they did a really good job opening people's eyes to the pet food industry and giving you information so that you can start like asking questions. And that's what I want you guys to do. I want you to ask questions. I want you to question things. Okay, so with the diet, you've got fresh food, you've got probiotics, omega-3 fatty acids. These are all things that are going to help your animal's immune system, gut health, allergies, okay? The other thing that is really pretty cool about feeding a fresh food diet is that a healthy animal is an unattractive host to fleas and ticks and mosquitoes. So it's a lot easier to manage those pests when you have a healthy animal, okay? The next thing I want to talk about as far as what goes into our or onto our animals that will stress the immune system and cause inflammation in the body and cause skin issues, allergies, all of these other things. It's not just allergies. It's really a lot of health issues, right? Are the vaccines. And the vaccine itself is introduced into the body, and the body wants to fight off something that's coming in that it doesn't recognize. And so it's busy fighting off this invader, and it's not able to do its normal job. So I really recommend, if you have to do vaccinations, that you want to do them safely. We talked about that last month. You don't want to bundle them. If your dog, for whatever reason, has to have 5 shots, you don't want to do all 5 at once. You want to do them 1 every 2 weeks. Titers, of course, we really want to do that instead of the vaccinations. I just was talking to somebody who took their puppy in for spay. So this is a pretty big surgery for a dog, right? Have the reproductive organs removed. And they vaccinated her, which is not going to help this dog's life. It's not going to help her immune system. And those are the kinds of things that we want to look at. Big picture, not just symptoms, not just what we're doing right here. We want to look at the big picture of the health of our animals.
So sorry, I have a question.
Of course.
So if you get vaccines for the dog, because of every once in a great while, we might need to go to Camp Bow Wow or something like that when we go away.
Yeah.
And so they require all that stuff, especially the Bordetella. Just like what you can do for humans, can we do for dogs as well? I'm not sure about the essential oil. I know there are essential oils that help you so you don't, for humans anyway, so you don't have a reaction to the vaccine. So you're basically taking some of the crumminess away from that. Can we do that with dogs too?
Right, yeah. So there's, and I have some information in the group on that. You can do something. Yeah, you can do something to boost their immune system before. You can do something immediately after, and then you can do some things to help them going forward for the next couple weeks.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, of course. Okay, so the next thing that we need to make sure that we pay attention to, and I talked about this, I think it was last week, is the flea, tick, and heartworm medication. Again, these are huge stressors on the immune system. These are significant toxins. These are neurotoxins for all the people that have joined the group whose pets have seizures, whose vets have, hi Stacy, whose vets have told them that these products have no relationship to their seizures. I was talking to a gal yesterday whose dog was on NexGard, and then she decided that that was dangerous. Her vet told her to go ahead and use the Seresto collar. The dog had seizures, I think it was within 2 days of putting on the Seresto collar. And the vet told her that that collar could not be causing the seizures and to leave it on. And now the dog has had countless seizures, and she's finally reached out and figured out that she needs to take that Seresto collar off. Those are the kinds of things that I really want to try and share information so that we all can help people look at what we're doing and what we want to do for our pets. Sorry, my eyes are not good. And let's see. Colleen, you just keep. All right. Okay. So looking at the whole animal, everything that's going on with the animal, we're looking at underlying health conditions, we're looking at age, weight, what we're feeding them, what is going on with the vaccinations. And also, I just want to remind you that titering is a blood test that checks for immunity. And there are places now that accept titering in place of the vaccinations. They don't accept it for, there is no titer for Bordetella, but some of them will let you sign a waiver for Bordetella, which is cold and flu.
Excuse me, Sherry.
Yeah, yeah.
When you were talking about the fleas and the tick and the heartworm, I understand the fleas and the ticks, and we've done that already on our flea and tick stuff. But what about heartworm? I've never done heartworm meds anyway. I don't think we need them here. All the dogs I've had, I've never had to do it, but I know there are places or people that need it. So do we have essential oils for the heartworm? We have an alternative, I should say.
Yeah. So there's a couple things. I went over it more in depth in the
prevention one.
Yeah, in the prevention one, and a lot of it has to do with first looking at what your risk is, and there's maps that show geographically what is going on in your area that you want to protect against.
Right.
So that's the first thing.
Right.
And then if you don't have a high risk in your area, you want to do regular heartworm testing, which is a blood test. You actually want to do that regardless, because you don't want to give the heartworm medicine to a dog that tests positive for it. But that's what I do with my dogs, and I'm in Florida.
Right.
Where we have mosquitoes. I have them tested every 3 to 4 months. And then there are protocols that we can do that are less invasive if they do test positive. But again, it's looking at the risk and then trying to figure out what is the least amount of toxins that we can add, so that we and in the least risky way, so that we can keep them healthy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Sure. Okay, so I think most of you are here to learn about how we can use essential oils to help our pet's skin. And we have essential oils that we can use on their skin. But remember, we're just treating symptoms when we're doing that. So if we're addressing the root cause, we can use the essential oils to treat the symptoms, okay? So in case there are new people here, I just want to go over what are essential oils and why do we use them. So essential oils are extracts from plants. They're very concentrated. They're 50 to 70% stronger than the herb. So for instance, lavender, you know, you can get the dried herb, or you can get a drop of lavender, and it's going to be very concentrated. It's natural, so the body doesn't reject it because it doesn't recognize it as a natural product. There are very few side effects. Again, the body recognizes these products that have been used for thousands of years. If you think about it, God really gave us everything that we needed. And in the last however 100 years, our society, we have replicated these natural products, made synthetic duplications that can be patented and made a profit off of. So it's just going back to what our forefathers used as their way of staying healthy. I personally use essential oils for every room, every aspect of my life and my dog's lives. I use it for cleaning products. I use it for air freshener. I use it for allergies instead of over-the-counter antihistamine. I use it in their shampoo, cleaning their ears, laundry, everywhere that a chemical or a fragrance would be used with a store-bought product. I use the essential oils. So how do we use the essential oils with our pets when we're trying to help them with skin issues? We can use them topically, and remember that the skin is the largest organ of the body. It's an elimination organ, but it also is the pathway to the essential oil or any other product absorbing through the skin and going into the bloodstream. So it's really important when you're using any product on your pet's skin that's going to go into their bloodstream and then into all of their organs, that it is high quality, it is pure, it is consistent. And that's why I use the doTERRA products. Transparency, you can look at the bottom of every bottle. Actually, the bottom of every bottle has a batch number, and there's a website that you can go on to that you can see what the results of the tests were. So a lot of holistic practitioners and even some more conventional practitioners are using doTERRA products, doTERRA essential oils, because they can trust that they're safe, that they're pure, that they're consistent. You're not going to get, something completely different bottle to bottle or batch to batch. Okay. When we're looking at skin, it's really easy. If you have, and Shelley, I was thinking about you for this, when you have dry skin and you want to moisturize dry skin, you want to use floral oils. So that would be your Roman chamomile, your lavender, your geranium. Those would be what you want to use if you have dry skin issues. If you want to, yeah.
What did you say? If you have dry skin, you want to use flora?
Floral, flowers.
Flowers, okay.
Flowers,
okay.
yeah. And then if you have damp skin, like the hot spots, the yeast, you want to use tree oils. And that would be your frankincense, myrrh, let's see. Oh, sorry. Arbor vitae is another one of the tree oils that is really helpful. Okay. And then when we're talking about using essential oils with animals, the most important thing is dilution. Dilute, 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 dilute. These oils are too concentrated, too strong to use on their skin without diluting them. The other thing is when you dilute them, it slows down the absorption of the essential oil so that their liver is not overwhelmed by the essential oil, and it can be metabolized more slowly. Okay. So kind of the rule of thumb, and it's going to be different for every animal, but it's just a general rule of thumb, is for dogs under 20 pounds and for cats, you want a dilution rate of 0.5% to 1%. So that's 0.5% to 1% dilution. So what does that look like? 1% is 1 drop of essential oil to 100 drops of carrier oil. Our 5 milliliter bottles of essential oil are 100 drops. So if you had an empty 5 milliliter bottle, you would put 1 drop of essential oil, 100 drops of carrier oil, and that is your 1% dilution. If you want to do 0.5%, you would do a 10 milliliter bottle. So 200 drops of carrier oil to 1 drop of essential oil. And I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but these essential oils are so powerful, so concentrated. I was working with a gal who had a 3-month-old baby that had like a heat rash on her face. And she had the essential oils, but she was afraid to use them because her baby was so young. So we made up a roller bottle with 1 drop of frankincense and 1 drop of lavender. And it was a 10 milliliter bottle. So that was a 1% dilution. And she rolled it on that rash, and within 45 minutes, the rash was gone. So these oils are really powerful. They need to be properly diluted, and they will do amazing things. So don't be afraid to use them. If you're going to go and get something off the shelf or from the vet's office, be as careful with those products as you are with being afraid to use the essential oils, right? So that was the suggested dilution rate for dogs under 20 pounds and cats. The dilution rate for dogs over 20 pounds is basically 1% to 4%. And that is going to be based on all of the things that we talked about: underlying conditions, age, weight, all of those things. All right. So we're talking about, yep.
Sorry, would you mind if I just repeat what you said about the 5 ml bottle is equal to 100 drops? So that's, if it was 1%, that's 1 drop.
Correct.
But if I was doing 2 oils in there, then I'd have to use the 10 ml bottle. Right.
So you could make up a larger container,
right, and
mix it, and then fill the 5 milliliter.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Then I could put 2 drops of oil in the 10 ml bottle. Got it. Thanks.
Okay. So the allergy blend itself, your dog is having allergy issues. People will say, give your animal Benadryl. Trying to think, Claritin, all kinds of over-the-counter type products that people talk about using when an animal is having some sort of allergic reaction. I don't use those products for myself. They're synthetic chemicals. They are not helping my body to keep a strong immune system. there's a blend that we call the allergy blend that is lemon, lavender, and peppermint. And the combination of those 3 oils acts as a natural antihistamine. So, so that's what we recommend using when there's some sort of allergic reaction going on. Let's say you've got itchy skin. There are the floral oils, which lavender or Roman chamomile, and that will help with soothing the top layer, the epidermis. And then myrrh is a tree oil, and that will go into the dermis and will help with healing whatever the irritant or the inflammation is in the second layer, the dermis. All right. So if we're dealing with a sore on the skin, a burn, a hot spot, so those are going to be more of the moist type of skin issues. Lavender, frankincense, and helichrysum. And you can use any one of those. If you have all 3, you can put the 3 together, and you're going to be able to utilize all of the therapeutic values of those. And that's to help with healing those skin issues. Sometimes our dogs get bald patches, like it's not dry, it's not moist, it's just the hair's fallen out. In that case, you could use lavender or ylang ylang. Those are both the floral essential oils. And then for hair regrowth, you can use rosemary. But it's really important, I want to warn you that rosemary is not recommended if there's any sort of seizure activity. So for sure, people whose animals experience any type of seizures, we don't want to use rosemary. If it were me, just because I'm seeing so much seizure activity in dogs now, I would just let it grow back on its own. And I wouldn't risk it. Yeah.
How do we know the difference between the allergy blend or the itchy skin? How would I know if she's got an allergy or she's just itchy? Just go for the allergy blend, maybe?
Well, you could do the allergy blend and see if you get a response.
Okay. And I can use that allergy blend on myself instead of Benadryl, yes?
Yes, yes. All of these oils, all of what we're talking about was developed, I mean, doTERRA developed this stuff for human use, but we're figuring out ways to use it for our pets.
Okay.
So yes, absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, so cuts, bites, and scrapes. Remember, if we're talking about like bites, we're going down deeper into the layers of the skin. So we really want to make sure that we use something that has antibacterial, antiseptic type of properties so that we don't get an infection down deep in the skin. In that case, we are looking to use myrrh, which has those antibacterial type of properties. Lavender is going to help with the soothing and the healing on the surface of the skin. We also have
What was the first one?
with that.
What was the first one?
The first one is myrrh. And also you could use arbor vitae, which is a tree. It lasts for like thousands of years. This is the tree of life. It never dies. So it has really, really fantastic properties that keep it alive, and we can utilize those to help for our health, for our pets' health. So that was for cuts, bites, and scrapes. Then we have lumps and bumps. And of course, lumps and bumps we want to have checked by the vet to make sure that, you know, we get a proper diagnosis, we know what we're dealing with. The lumps and bumps are going to be under the skin, under the top layer. So we're dealing with the dermal layer. And in that case, we want to use helichrysum, frankincense, and copaiba. Those all address cellular health. And so using those oils is going to help regenerate the right cells that we want to grow. Okay. And then the last one is a healthy coat, healthy looking fur. We're doing the right things, but we want to help our pet to have a more shiny coat. So to support that, we want to use sandalwood, frankincense, or lavender. If it were me, when we were looking at the expense of the oils, I would start with lavender because that's the most inexpensive, and then I would go to frankincense, and if I didn't have that, I would use the sandalwood. But putting one of those or multiples in a glass spray bottle and spraying it on the coat, and then massaging it into the skin, that's going to help with creating more of a shiny coat. And that's healthier fur, not shiny from the carrier oil, right? Okay, so.
Sherry?
Yep.
Most of the other ones that we spoke about so far, those are all on roller bottles, and we roll them onto the bite or the this or the that we just did. But this one was a spray bottle, correct?
Right,
Okay.
that's right. Mm-hmm.
Thanks.
Yep. Okay, so we talked about how the health of the immune system and the gut is the basis for what's going on with the health of the skin. We talked about diet being primary in creating those things, creating the gut health and the immune system. We talked about reducing or eliminating toxins as much as possible. I know that when I have gone to the vet in the past, if there is something going on, Barney, before he was diagnosed with lymphoma, had one of his nipples had like a crack in it, and the vet wanted to put him on antibiotics. Why? You know, if there's something going on, the antibiotics aren't going to help, they're going to stress his immune system. So really think about what those toxins are, what those chemicals are, is what the chemical is treating, is that worth stressing the immune system and depleting the good gut bacteria. Okay. And didn't talk about stress. Okay. So stress is something that our animals react to just like people, and it stresses their immune system. When they're stressed, they are creating cortisol, and that messes with their immune system. So keeping that in mind, when you're looking at skin issues, things that we can do to help calm their anxiety. And that could be using essential oils, or it could be more exercise. Yeah. Stress is something that we really want to take into consideration for our animals. We have a lot of people working from home now, so our pups are getting a lot more time with us that they weren't used to. And for those animals that enjoy having their people with them around the clock, like a lot of people are right now, there's going to be some stress when things go back to what the schedule was before. So we want to keep that in mind and help our animals deal with that stress. So does anybody have any questions about what I talked about?
I have one.
Okay.
Are there good oils to diffuse for the dogs for stress?
The calming oils that we have include Serenity, Balance. We have lavender, Roman chamomile. Those are really good for diffusing. The adaptive blend is the new blend. I actually have it right here. I rolled it on my wrists before we started the class. This is really good for stress. We have it in the 15 milliliter bottle, so you can diffuse that. There's the Peace blend is really good. And you can also use like a little bandana, and with the diluted essential oils, you can spray that bandana and put it on the dog.
Okay.
So it's their own personal diffuser. Yeah.
Sherry, are there any oils that are a no-no to diffuse in the house that are no-no for our dogs that come to mind?
There are certain ones that are not recommended. And for me, they're not the oils that I would necessarily ever put in my diffuser. Like wintergreen.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't put that in my diffuser. Trying to think of what some of the other ones are. Now, when you're talking about, you know, if there's certain health conditions like the seizures, there are certain ones that we want to stay away from.
Right. Obviously, I've got those, yeah.
Yeah. But for the most part,
A client asked me that the other day. She said she diffuses oils throughout the house, different ones throughout, and she's got a baby and this and that. And is there anything that she shouldn't diffuse because she got a brand new puppy? So I was just wondering. Well,
the first thing that you shouldn't diffuse are oils that you get from Walmart or you know,
I remember the thing with Sam's Club.
Or Sam's Club, or, I mean, if they have a supplemental fax on them, that means that they are, in the United States, they're considered grass, generally regarded as safe. and so they can be put into food, which means that they can be put into your body.
Right, right.
So it's like food.
Yeah.
We always, when we diffuse the essential oils, we always want them to be able to exit the room in case they don't care for it, in case they, you know, are
Correct.
feeling
A
like,
place to go that's not stinky.
right, right. So it's more of a just being aware of your own animal. I've never had one of my animals walk out of a room because of the essential oils.
And there isn't one that sticks in your mind that's like, oh no, don't diffuse that one.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
No, I mean, you know, Melaleuca is always a question, but I would never.
And that's like tea tree, right?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
But I wouldn't diffuse tea tree.
Yeah, I don't think it smells good.
No.
And if I'm doing something for immune support, I'm going to use the On Guard blend.
I was going to say, so if you're diffusing
Or breathe.
to purify or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
that's fine. I mean, I have it even
Right.
in the car, so that's fine.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
Sherry, I have a few questions.
Hi, Iris. Welcome. I'm glad you're here.
Yes, thank you. And thank you for inviting me.
Yes.
Can you actually give oils internally to dogs?
With the doTERRA essential oils, we can give them internally. And
Okay.
again, you know, it's very
Diluted.
specific to the animal. The dilution is very important. But I personally have a blend that I put in my animals' food every day. And I have a bottle on their feeding table. It's a combination of turmeric, Digest-Zen, which is the digestive blend, frankincense, copaiba, and we have a blend called DDR Prime. It's the damaged DNA repair blend. And so I have all of those mixed together, diluted, and then I shake a couple drops into their food every day.
A couple of drops. Okay. All right. And for larger dogs, it is 1 to 4. Did I understand that correctly? So 1 drop of the oil and 3 drops of the fractionated coconut oil or any other dilution oil, correct?
No, actually, that would be 25%. So 1% is 1 drop of essential oil to 100 drops of the carrier oil.
Okay, so could you please repeat this one more time? Then for how much would it be for a big dog?
So for a larger dog, you would use a 1 to 4% dilution.
Okay.
A 4% dilution would be 4 drops of essential oils to 100 drops or 5 milliliters of carrier.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Makes complete sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I have another question. I have a dog. I've had her since basically she was 5 days old. She was my foster dog. She has been fed raw ever since I had her as a puppy, minimal vaccines. So, you know, probiotics pretty much from the food side, I have done everything, but she came from horrible conditions.
Right.
And she had some mange. And my holistic vet even recommended ivermectin for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And it helped some, but she's still scratching.
Yeah.
Is there something that I can spray on her skin? Because I still think that, and part of it is what I need to address now is the immune system, even though, again, I feed her stuff. But I think maybe from a genetic perspective, she was never really, she was not given the best advantage.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
What would you recommend for something like that?
Well, food-wise, the probiotics really important, which I'm sure you're doing. Raw goat's milk is always
I do that.
Okay. That's good. So for the immune system, I go with the On Guard.
Okay.
And then topically for the itching, try the Roman chamomile.
Okay. All right. And so you give the On Guard internally then?
Yes.
Okay. And how long do you typically recommend can these bottles be used? When would you discard them?
Well,
And I ask only because I have an On Guard bottle, but it's a couple years old.
yeah.
So before I give it to her, just want to ask whether you still would give it or whether you would buy a new one.
Yeah. There's an expiration date on the bottle, on the bottom of the bottle.
Okay.
So I would start by looking at that.
Got it. All right. Okay. So you would do the Roman chamomile on the externally and then the On Guard internally.
Right.
Okay. And then I have one last question.
Okay.
My dogs, I live in Atlanta area, and in summertime or right now around springtime, their skin tends to get darker. I don't change anything in their food.
Yeah.
Their skin just gets darker.
Right.
Do you know the cause for that, or what would you do?
So they're having some sort of allergic reaction.
Okay.
And so as far as symptoms go, you can give them the allergy blend, and you can apply that topically to the paw pads, and that's the combination of the lemon, lavender, and peppermint.
Okay, and that one they sell as an allergy blend, as one bottle, as a product.
Well, they sell the allergy blend in soft gel. It's called Tri-Ease. So for people who don't want to be bothered with getting their 3 bottles of oils and making either their own capsule or shot glass, we have the soft gels.
Okay, got it.
But for the dogs, and especially if you have a smaller dog, I always recommend getting the 3 separate bottles. And you can jump in on this, Allie, or Shelley, if you want. I think having those 3 separate bottles, because each one of those can be used for so many different things, the lemon, lavender, and peppermint, it really makes sense to get those 3 oils.
Yeah.
Okay,
And was it lemon or was it lemongrass?
Lemon.
Lemon, just the lemon. Okay, got it. Thank you.
Sure.
Okay,
Thank you
sorry.
very much.
Sorry, I'm in on this because I've got the Tri-Ease, I've got the lemon, lavender, peppermint. Our dog, the Westie, that's having problems is around 20 pounds. So if I do, I'm tending to think that I'm going to do the allergy blend, or not, you know, the lemon, lavender, pep that I would do myself.
Right.
So 1 drop of each of those. So if I'm going according to our 1%.
1%.
So let's say I do 1 drop of those, I would need to have more than, I'd need to have a 30 milliliter bottle.
Yeah, actually that would work out really easily because we have the spray 30 milliliter bottles.
Right.
And so you would just put 1 drop of each in that and then fill it up with the carrier oil.
And so
Purple bottle.
I can put that on his skin, or is that something that he can, like if I wanted to do it, putting it on his food, I'm not sure how to get down him. And then with the fur, when you spray, I can spray it and he'll be fine with that. What would be the better thing? Because I've kind of thought about doing the Tri-Ease, but I think he's a little bit, the poundage wise wouldn't work.
He's too little for Tri-Ease.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in that case, I would make the spray and I would spray it on his paw pads.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it on the food. Those are too strong of flavors for most dogs.
Yeah, okay.
And the paw pad is...
So that would go in, instead of putting it where I see he's itching, the paw pads would absorb everything and it would go into him internally. I get it. Okay, I get it. Okay.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sherry,
Yeah.
the the food where you say you put in the turmeric, the digestive, the frank, and the copaiba, and you make it up and put it in your dog's food. What is the reason that you're giving it to them for? just to up their immune system, or is there a particular reason?
Right, right. So it helps with their immune system. It's anti-inflammatory. The Digestin is helping with their digestive tract.
Right,
So it's more of a supplement.
right. A general supplement. And then do you make it up with the dilution? And you said you just put a few drops in. So are you, again, here that would have to be a really big bottle then, because with mine under 20 pounds, I would have to do it at 1%.
Right, right.
And
Right, and for I've got my smallest dog is 60 pounds, so it's not
easier for you to.
Yeah, it's a lot. I have big dogs, so it's easier for me to come up with the mixes. The smaller they are, the more careful you need to be, and the bigger the container you need to mix it in.
And maybe I could just put in 2 drops of something and make it up, and then 2 drops in another one and make it up, and then, so, I don't know, something like that. Yeah.
Right.
Could you make it in one big container and then split it into smaller containers?
Yeah. Exactly. That's exactly what you want to do.
Okay. Like the big one, that big spray bottle that we buy from Aroma Tools, the purple thing. That's I think that's a 30 ml.
The purple one, no, I'm not sure which one you're talking about. This is 8 ounces.
Okay.
So, there's different bottles available. You can get from doTERRA, or you can get from other essential oil accessory companies. And it's gonna be dependent on your animals.
Right.
In some of the other presentations, I have put up, these are the suggested oils or supplements. But in this case, it's really dependent on your specific animals and what's going on with them as far as stress, as far as diet, what type of skin issues they are dealing with, ear infections, yeast, all of those things are going to make what we talk about different.
So for the allergy blend that the lady was just speaking about now, and you said you put it in a spray bottle. Now I'm a little confused. The lemon, lavender, and peppermint. If it's in a spray bottle, then it's going to be on their fur, and then we're going to massage it in?
No, what I was saying I do with the allergy blend in the spray bottle.
Yeah.
You can do the spray bottle, which is the right size container for her to mix it.
Right.
Or you can do it in a roller bottle and just roll it on your finger and rub it on their paw pads. So that one you want to get into their bloodstream.
Or we can spray it on their pads or rub it on their pads.
Yep, exactly.
Bit of areas on their coat. So the pads are the way to go for all these things.
Yeah. Otherwise, you're rubbing it on their fur, and you really want to get it. It's harder. Yeah, to get it to absorb through their skin.
Okay, and if they lick them a little bit, it's okay because it's going in.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Okay.
Totally okay, because most of it has absorbed into their skin and is gone.
Really quickly.
Yeah, what they lick is, it's fine because it's going into their system. So if they want to lick it and they're okay with the flavor of it.
Okay. Great.
So with the lumps and bumps, for lumps and bumps, would you put that on the actual lump? Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I know they're fatty tissues. We had them diagnosed and all.
Right, right. Yeah, a lot of the dogs develop those as they get older. And I just want to make it clear, I'm not saying not to go to the vet, not to have things diagnosed. What I want you guys to have is a feeling of empowerment, that you know your animal better than anybody, and you have some tools that you can use to help your animal. But doesn't necessarily mean that you have to go to the vet for every little thing. right? Stacy, are you there? How about Jessica? I haven't heard from either one of you. I would love to know.
I did have a question.
Uh-huh.
So we know that our Great Dane has yeast infections. I mean, you can smell it on her.
Mm-hmm.
So for doing the tree oils, you do that topically on the skin as well as the paw pads? Would that be the best solution?
Well, yeast infections are a whole other thing. Again, you can help the skin symptoms, but there's really so much going on in the gut that's the focus.
Right. I know we had talked about putting her on a raw diet. We tried we've tried different foods that they say are better for that, but I'm thinking we're gonna have to put her on some kind of raw diet. So what would you recommend? She's a 100+ pound Great Dane. She's not too picky about what she eats, but
so is this something that we can go offline and go over? Because what I like to do is when we're talking about a specific animal, and Allie, you know that we've gone through this. Shelley, we've done this as well. I really like to spend time breaking down exactly what's going on. You know, sometimes when we're talking, things will come up that you go, oh yeah, I forgot about that. And it's not a one-time thing. We don't talk one time, you know, and it doesn't always work the first time with what we're trying. Just like with people, some medications work for you and they don't work for me. So then we have to try something different. What I offer is consultation, and I'm here because I love animals and I want to help you give your pet the best chance to live a long, healthy life. So I do consultations. It's a $25 fee if you are using essential oils and you just want me to help guide you through what I've learned and help get you on the right track. If you want to get started with using the supplements or the oils, of course, it's free. When you join my team, I am a phone call away. You have a question or an issue. We all want to get things answered for our pets so that we know, what we can do to help them. We want them to feel good all the time. So I would suggest, if you want, we can do like a private message and set up a time that we can talk and we can go through everything that's going on with your pup and get started on trying to get, is it a her?
It's a she, yeah.
Okay, trying to get her feeling better. And that's going to get you feeling better, because there's nothing worse than having our babies suffer and feeling like we can't help them.
Yes, yeah, that would be great.
Okay, so we'll talk offline.
Okay.
And Stacy, if you wanted to say anything.
I'm here.
For some reason, your microphone is not working.
But would like to know on mute. Can you hear me now?
For some reason, Stacy, I don't know if it's your connection. I know that you logged in and out a couple times, so I'm not sure if there's a network issue. Okay, she's going to try and jump on again. Oh, wait. Stacy, are you there?
Can you see me?
I can hear you.
For me. I'm here.
Oh, hooray. Okay, awesome.
Okay, good. Okay. I just was gonna
We're still having,
ask-
yeah. We can hear you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Perfect.
Okay, I don't know what it is because
Yeah.
nothing's changed on my end. So
Okay.
I just turned my video on. No, I just was going to ask if you could repeat the oils that you put on your dog's food.
Oh, okay. So I use turmeric, frankincense, copaiba, digestion, and DDR prime.
Okay. Okay.
And those are all to support the immune system, to reduce inflammation, and to help with the digestive tract.
Do you put them directly on their food and just mix it up?
I don't even mix it up.
Okay.
I put all their food together and I grab the oil and I sprinkle it on the top, and they can't get to the food fast enough.
Okay. Okay. Well, I have one that loves oils. It doesn't matter what it is. And so I'm always concerned. This is him right here. I don't know if you can see him laying here. He's got to be right beside me. But he loves any oil. I can't even put them on my body without him trying to lick them off. So I'm not him. It's the other one who is a little more finicky about it. I'm just real cautious, you know, with him about oil. So
sure. And I assume that you're using doTERRA?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. Good. Yeah. So if he wants to lick oils off of you, that's fine. I mean,
Yeah, it just takes away from me.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
That's all. That was good information. Thank you for letting me.
Good. I hope it was. I just, like I said, I'm just really passionate about helping people realize that there's other things to look at. And it makes me really sad when the answer that we get from our vets is Apoquel or Cytopoint. And I did it before I got to where I am today. Barney had Apoquel. Who knows how much of his lymphoma was connected to that, or the flea and tick medications. He had all of those. So if we can try these other things to help them, I know that they'll live longer and healthier, and it's safer for us too, because all of those chemicals are then in our environment.
Sherry, I'm sorry, I've got to go. My bubble is bursting now, so
Okay.
Day starts. Sorry. So thank you so much.
Oh, I'm glad that you were able to join us.
Okay, take care.
All right, you too. Did anybody else have any questions? Shelley, you've been really quiet.
The only thing I was going to say, Sherry, is I think it was Iris that has yeast problems.
Mm-hmm.
So we went through that last year.
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh, okay.
sorry,
Yeah.
Jessica. And my girl had yeast really bad. Took her to the vet. They wanted to put her on antibiotics.
Right.
And at that point, they said it was just skin infection. They didn't say what it was. So I said no antibiotics. So then they gave me pamphlets for Apoquel and Cytopoint.
Right.
I came home and I looked at them and it's just like, I don't want to go down that route.
Right.
They gave me a shampoo to use, but it was like knocking the hair off of her.
Wow.
So that's the point when I started talking to you. So I did that blend that you gave me on her feet, and I do like a week on, week off.
Okay.
I was giving her natural probiotics like sauerkraut or yogurt, but I went and got like real dog probiotics, gave that to her.
Yeah.
And I also started shampooing her. I think it was every second day with a yeast shampoo that had essential oils in it. And also rinsing with apple cider vinegar water.
Right.
And, the days that I didn't shampoo her, I just rinsed her. And and when I called the vet and I said, what kind of skin infection? They said yeast. I don't know why they're recommending antibiotics for yeast. But
it doesn't make any sense.
No, and it cleared up. It's fine. So I can attest to going that route and coming out the other end. And the other thing is I was also treating ear infection.
Right.
And she'd always get ear infection. And I want to say, since I used those essential oils and got her in good probiotics, she's never had ear problems.
Oh my God, that is such fabulous, wonderful news. And it's true. It works. It really, you know, if we go back to the nature and eliminate all of that stuff that is in the environment and the stuff that the vets, I just, it makes me sad. We have to promote wellness for our animals. And unless you're dealing with a holistic vet, and even in that case, like I said, the holistic vet did not suggest a fresh food diet for Barney. So we need to be their advocates, and there's a lot of information out there. My days are filled with connecting with other people who are in the pet wellness industry. And I just am trying to learn every day what we can do to help. So I like to share that with everybody. Sherry, we are just wrapping up.
Sherry, I have one last question.
Yes, Iris.
Regarding your immune boosting mix of those 5 oils, I assume you still put them in carrier oils, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And how many drops do you mix them all together in a carrier oil?
Yeah.
1 to 4, you shake it beforehand. And how many of these drops do you add to their food?
You know, they're 60, 75 pounds. So I'll shake 2 or 3 drops.
Okay.
It's diluted. I mean, you know,
yeah.
The amount of essential oils that are in those couple drops is the dilution. So
yeah.
It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't, now, if it was a tiny dog, I would probably be a little bit more specific about it.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. Perfect. And by the way, I just want to also say, I have been on this route for the longest time, and many years ago, I got a dog in that was heartworm positive. And it was my foster dog, and she was actually the mama of this pup that I told you that has some mange issues.
Right.
And I refused to do the imidacide injections, and I was able to heal her naturally from heartworms. So even from stuff like that used to scare me back in the days, it does not have to scare us. We just have to educate ourselves, and we just have to do our own research and ask questions until we find the answer and never give up.
Right. And there's a lot of us out there, and sharing information about how to do these things. You know, people aren't hoarding, or they're not protecting that information. You know,
No.
there's a lot of sharing going on.